Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be talking about a very good message from Dr. K. I actually watched this video about 3 to 4 months ago and I actually loved this video. I've been kind of repeating this video for like the past 3 months just to keep that flowing thought. Like I really like the video. Get my AirPod and I'll continue. Yes, I'm back. I really love the video actually. He actually talks about what majority of people actually face in their whole existence, this existential crisis people are going through. But I actually love his point, but I won't just give a spoiler without you actually seeing the video at least. Let's just dive in. I just a clip of it. That's what I really wanted from that video.
Anything outside of themselves. And this is where people will say, and this is, but I can say particular things, I can work harder. Yeah, you can do all that stuff, but you don't actually control what happens. So all you can do is take the right action. And then I remember I learned this because one day I was in the emergency room and a patient came in with 3 gunshot wounds. And so this person's dying, right? And it's like, we're going to do everything that we can, but holy shit, we don't know if this person's going to live or die. We just can't do it. And this is one of the best hospitals on the planet, right? Amazing attending this brilliant trauma surgeon. And we just can't save this. We don't know. And think about how advanced medicine is. Think about all these tools we have. We have antibiotics and we have MRIs and CT scans. And we literally we can take someone's heart out of their body and we can give them somebody else's heart and we can replace your heart, we can replace your kidneys, but we can't save a life.
Just remember actually what happened to me last 3-4 months ago actually when I was actually struggling with I was actually struggling with actually physics and chemistry. So before I took an entrance exam actually 2 weeks before the exam could actually take place took place or take place actually. Sorry for that misunderstanding, but I actually took that exam without the full knowledge of. I was thinking like, "Ah, I've done the best I could and I couldn't just pass for the last 3 years ago. I was like struggling and struggling all of that, but when I remembered something, I was like, the best I could do is actually just read. That's the best. You actually read, and majority of the things you actually read or read might not actually come out in the exam. That's normal. That's normal. But there are systems now which actually just makes everybody feel like they are failure or something. Yeah, people are actually putting you might be putting enough of work, like 6 hours, 10 hours if they actually read it. And you might come out with nothing. That's normal. But the system actually is making us to feel like we don't know what we are doing at this point of life. You might be working, schooling, helping out, and doing several things. Even actually drawing. You might actually draw for 10 to 15 hours and draw nothing else. Just sketches and parts and all of that. Just things that might actually not make sense to you. But the best thing is that you spend 6 hours doing that thing. There's no other better things to see that or say than you actually put in that work. It's better you take many shots as possible. I actually love that speech because as someone who actually loved reading the most all my life, when I started having some bad grades, this whole situation made me dump the book for a very, very, very like span of like 3 years. I never touched any book again because I was actually that period. I don't know what was happening, but the work overload was like too much. So I started having some bad decisions with the school life and all of that. But the worst part was that I left reading. That was the worst thing. I left book like about I didn't touch the book till about 6 to 4 years. If I'm not mistaken, like the day I touched the book back, I was like, what was the reason I left this thing? Like the best I could actually do was actually read. But like every philosopher might actually say, you already know most of these philosophers' thoughts, but the only thing is that composing it in a way that we might actually pass the message to the next person. That's just it. But his point is intact. I really love his point. Like, if you actually sit down and listen to Dr. K, the mass sorcerer, these guys are actually people which you might actually look up to, like, in a very long time. Like, they're actually consistent with their thought and all of that. Let's just dive back into the video. You understand
There
what
may
I'm
be
talking
graft
about.
versus host disease, you never know. So that's number one. Second thing is just dissolve the ego. The moment that you dissolve your ego, which is, if we look at things like, there are even studies now of psychedelics, for example, and psychedelics and trauma. And if you look at the studies of people who use psychedelics for the healing of trauma. You can measure, you can predict whether there will be a therapeutic improvement based on the type of psychedelic experience they have. So if I see cool colors and patterns, I won't be healed. If I have specifically an ego death experience, that's what correlates with healing. So a lot of and this is also what the yogis and the Buddhist people and Buddha and all these people figured out, is the more that you dissolve your ego, the more content you will be.
What do you mean when you say dissolve the ego?
What are you?
Person.
What does that mean?
I guess my experience of me is thoughts and identity.
What is identity?
A sense of self, a story that I tell myself.
So those are two different things. Which one are you really? So if I were to ask, who is Chris Williamson, what would you say?
Person, podcaster.
Okay, so this is where there's certain specific features of the ego. So Chris Williamson is ... is a factor of your ahamkar or your ego. Podcaster, man, Chad, say.
Because he cooked here, like, this is it, like, you might actually think, a miracle, I'm just, I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, and that ego, you might actually build up on that ego that if anything might actually make you go off that grid of being a doctor at like break it, like if anything could actually make you go off that lane, you might actually just give everything up. Like that's what ego does to you secretly. Like every human has ego, but the only thing is how do you control your ego at the best of it? Because like I said initially, I was already part of this whole ecosystem. Like you might actually have ego and pride. You might never know of that. And you might just be going along your way doing things stupidly, like because there's ego there. You are like, I normally get first grades. What's the need of me reading again? Like, what do I need to read for when I actually get first grades? Like, I normally score 18 exam. I don't. What am I reading again for? Is it not just matter? Is it not just maths? Is it not just wit? Is it not just physics? Is it not just chemistry? Is it not just the dog? Is it not just the moment you put just ego sets in, it sets in at a very high alarm rate that you might actually just start doing things at a very, very wrong space and time. Like, I don't know how to put it, but ego is actually destructive than pride. Left to me, I've seen it. If you have ego, like, I'm good at this stuff, it might actually destroy. I know many people might actually say Kanye West is an example of someone who actually has overconfidence. But there's nothing worse than overconfidence. It just give me a second. Give me a second. There's nothing actually worse than overconfidence. If left to me, like there's nothing worse than overconfidence. When you have too many confidence or too much confidence on something, 80% of the time I feel you might get wrong. Have you ever seen a trader actually trade? A trader that say I make $100,000. If they are being brought, sorry, to live chat to actually do what they normally do best at the secret or at their that they normally type, I make $100,000, I make, they might actually fail at a very long, fast, simple rate. Like they might not actually even make one success out of 100 trade. That's what ego and overconfidence does to you. But you know, life we actually start looking at people who are over successive or people who are over successful, sorry, as examples. We normally don't look at, and the worst thing is that in a society like this, you actually need people who are you actually need, sorry, the frog and the birds. The frogs are the ones seeing what is happening down. They might actually move slowly and do things in the ecosystem you imagine. But the birds are also work. That's the thing. But overconfidence actually ruin everything you might actually build something for years and you might never know your ego and overconfidence is actually ruin
Behavior, loser,
for a very
whatever.
long time.
All of those.
But the truth of the matter is, scientifically,
The moment you start failing on that aspect, like you no longer have money or you no longer have degree or you no longer have a job that suits your ego, you might say, what's this job? I mean, how much should they pay me in my previous job? That's why I see most people nag at their workspace. It's not because of like what job is toxic. It's because the normal state of life which they actually were before, before they came to that job, like they have like $100,000 job, they came back to square one and started going for a $30,000 job or a 20,000 naira job before they were working 200,000. They might actually get pained overruin confidence might actually tank and their ego might actually plummet because I was working here. What is this stupid job? All of that. You understand the concept. That's why I say ego is actually dangerous. The moment you start failing at your exam, you say I'm a loser. If you start winning too much, I'm a winner. And there's nothing else. That's you need to balance your ego and pride at a very lower rate. Like bring it down. The moment you start bringing it down, I feel that's the easiest way for you to stop having too much confidence is actually dangerous than less confidence. Have you seen someone that actually never knows book before and enter exam? It might actually just tick rubbish and actually comes out with a better score than you that over predicts. That's it. I'm not saying reading is not like you might actually read and feel, but on a higher percentage of actually seen. People actually who normally know something. On one in 10 have actually seen. If they actually go into exam hall and they don't know what to write, they might actually just tick and come out from the exam. That's it. They'll just score A and that's all. And they don't normally have pride. Look at they'll say I didn't normally like I didn't prepare for it exam, but I got the best grade. They don't normally have that ego like with or someone that actually if I say I have they don't, like people who normally has that regular kind of ego that actually I read 24 hours a day. When I came to the exam, I scored 100. Once they see the result, they are off, pass or fail. They will go that way. That's what less confidence look like.
Those are
less
not real
ego. Sorry,
things, right?
sorry,
I
less
can't
ego looks
biopsy
like.
you and find a podcaster. These are abstractions of the mind. Loser, winner. What does that mean? One person has a trophy, one person doesn't have a trophy. That's what makes them a winner or loser. But what if someone cheats? Is a cheater a winner? No, those are two different things. But hold on a second. I thought we said winners have trophies. Right? So these are all abstractions of the mind. And your first answer was the correct one, which is that you are that which experiences this person's life. You are a sense of experience. That's it. The rest of it is like glommed on. And if we sort of think about it, right? So even if we think about the things that we think of as our identity. So a man having an identity as a man can change nowadays. So I've always been all oak, sort of, but I wasn't always a doctor. I wasn't always a father, but I was still me. So if you
Like the video is getting too long, but you might actually just sneak in and watch this podcast on your own. But I just needed to talk about this. This is actually one of the best way to live your life. Put in effort at a very high alarming rate. Never have ego. Like do things at your own pace. People will actually pass you. Like you might be the smartest and people will actually pass you. People will make more money than you. Your friends might actually leave you. Life might never go right for you. But that's it. That's the whole course of life. Like that's the whole thing about life. You might never be successful. Even if you put in enough work, but the major thing is start picking shots, throwing shots, like learning new things, trying new things. Like I have never drawn anything for the past 7 years or so. Today I just drew this stuff. Like you can actually see it. It's not really good, but I actually gained pleasure while doing it. While also listening to music. Like I didn't have enough capacity for me to like draw my graph or plot my graph very well. Sorry, but I actually met someone who actually taught me how to do it in a very easier way. He explained to me and I understand him, I understood him very well. So that's it. With less ego, you normally don't have whoever is bigger than you or less than you. You just move along. That's it. This video is getting too long. I actually have to cut it here, but please reduce the way you present your ego towards people. It's not by what you have. I think most times I do not really understand some religious texts. Like I do not mean everything I agree with it, but in some way I feel like they might be actually correct when it comes to ego because wealth might or success might be attached to ego at a very high rate. That's it. I'm gonna have to cut this video here. I'll see you next time and please if you love this video subscribe, share, like and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.